What's going on, everybody? Thanks for checking out this video. Today I've got my T1N Sprinter and I'm going to show you how to do a radiator removal and replacement. This works for years 2001 through 2006. So the first thing you need to do is locate and unscrew the plastic drain plug, which is on the bottom driver's side of the radiator. It's a plastic drain plug, so you can use just a flathead screwdriver like I'm using here. You can also access it if you remove the headlight from the top instead of from the bottom like I did. Make sure also to have a drain pan to catch the coolant. There isn't a direct path for the coolant to drain down, so the coolant splashes around and makes a mess, so be prepared. Here's the plastic drain plug here. Nothing too fancy about that. Take off the coolant cap on the radiator. It'll help the coolant drain out faster. We're gonna take this heat shield off. There's three 10mm sockets on top, 10mm bolts. You can remove all three of those, and then the heat shield easily comes off. We're going to disconnect our coolant lines here. This coolant line runs from your coolant tank to your transmission, to your thermostat. And this is the larger upper radiator hose that runs from your upper radiator to your thermostat as well. So undo those clamps and then take those hoses off. Be gentle not to rip them off, just easily wiggle them off. There is a third hose underneath here that connects to the bottom of the coolant reservoir tank. We're going to take that one off next. Wasn't able to get my power tool in here, so we're going to have to manually do this one. Once you have the clamp unscrewed, just take it off and you should be good to go. Alright, on our coolant reservoir tank there is a coolant level sensor. As you can see, I turned it to the right and I'm going to lift directly up. It's a little finicky, it's a little stubborn, so make sure just to be persistent. Don't break it, but it should just come right up. Alright, now we have our transmission fluid radiator return lines. I have my 19mm socket here, or 19mm wrench. Once you crack it, you can usually undo it. Make sure, if you don't already have something underneath here, there's going to be transmission fluid that does come out. So just make sure you're aware of that and catch it. On the bottom here, there's the other transmission fluid radiator return line. You can access that one a little bit easier if you remove the intercooler hose, but I'm going ahead and just going to crack the seal here first, crack the bolt with my wrench. As you can see, I'm having a little bit of difficulty reaching that here. So we're going to take off this intercooler hose and push it off to the side. Give us much easier access to that lower transmission fluid radiator return line. That intercooler hose, that runs to the turbo resonator, just in case you were wondering. Once you have that clamp undone, go ahead and remove that hose and push it off to the side. Alright, now we have much better access to that bolt down there. There is going to be much more transmission fluid coming out. Be prepared to catch it. I was not prepared, but there's not a whole lot that comes out. Just that's about how much that comes out. Alright, the next thing we're going to do, this is a Torx 40, the radiator support cross member. There's 4 Torx 40 bolts, 1 on each side here, and 2 behind the grill. So we're going to remove these 2 up top first, and then we're going to go ahead and remove the grill to get access to those as well, the other 2. There's 2 metal clips that anchor the radiator to the radiator support cross member. So go ahead and disconnect both of those right now. Make sure to keep everything in order. Helps the document. Set it all to the side. This is a 10mm socket. You can also use a Phillips head screwdriver to get the grill off here. There's 2 plastic tabs on each side which you need to pull out. Once you have those pulled out, the grill freely comes off. There we go. Set that grill off to the side. Again, these are Torx 40 screws. So, yeah, make sure you have the correct size bit. Torx 40 works. If you want to remove the headlights, it makes access to these bolts a little bit easier. I didn't really want to remove the headlights. Didn't need to. You don't have to, but it makes it a little bit easier to get access to those 2 bolts specifically. And when you remove that, make sure to hang on to it. It's a big, heavy metal piece. There is a wire here. That cable is the cable that disconnects or engages the mechanism to open up the hood. Set that off to the side and you're good to go. Next, we're going to remove the front bumper. The front bumper has 2 13mm sockets. Remove those 2 bolts and yeah. Once you have those 2 bolts removed, the bumper slides right off. Pull directly, evenly from both sides, and the bumper should come right off. Alright, we have our auxiliary fan here. Take our bolts up top here, remove those 2. That's our first step to removing the auxiliary fan. Once we have those 2 bolts undone, there's 2 bolts here. I think those are 10mm as well. That's a bracket that the auxiliary fan mounts to. So undo those two bolts. Once you have those 2 bolts undone, you will be on your way to removing that auxiliary fan. Alright, 10mm here. We're going to remove that bolt there. That's your horn. It's going to fall off if you don't catch it. So you don't have to disconnect it. You can just set it off to the side. Once you have those 2 bolts removed, your auxiliary fan can come easily off. Set it off to the side. You don't have to disconnect it. Just don't damage it. Our next task here is to remove the AC condenser. There is a Phillips screw here. There's a couple brackets you need to remove, but that Phillips screw is one of the first things you need to do. I'm also going to unbolt the intercooler here. There's 4 10mm bolts which secure the intercooler to the radiator. Come on. And there's our 4th bolt. Make sure to retrieve those bolts. Don't lose anything. It's easy to lose bolts here. Lots of bolts and screws. Alright, we're almost ready to remove that AC condenser. There's that bracket. Remove that bracket which your auxiliary fan was mounted to. There's 2 bolts here that mount your AC condenser to the intercooler. So remove those bolts. Once you get those bolts undone, your AC condenser is freed up and you can set it off to the side. The AC condenser is still hooked up, so please be very careful with it. Don't turn it a whole lot. Don't yank on it. Just kind of twist it and just set it off gently to the side here. Alright, we have our power steering return line. These are Torx 20 screws. There's 4 Torx 20 screws that are mounting your power steering return line. So undo all 4 of those. Go ahead and take that power steering return line and set it off to the side. Don't bend it, don't break it. Don't break it. Couple more brackets here. I think that's the same Torx 20 screw. And that is securing your intercooler to your radiator. So once you have those 2 bolts undone, make sure you don't lose any of these brackets or anything like that. But your intercooler should be ready to come out if you've disconnected everything. I still need to disconnect 1 more hose, the upper hose on the intercooler here. I'm going to point that out here in just a second. There it is. Easily have access to this hose here. Just an air hose. No coolant. No fluid will drain out of it. Once you got that clamp off, pull on the hose and it should slide right off. There we go. I'm having fun. I don't know if you guys are having fun, but I'm having fun. Please hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button if you're new. And yeah, here we go. We got the intercooler coming right out. Make sure to get that return line out of the way. The intercooler should just come right out. Don't damage it. Remove it. Set it off to the side. And move on to the next step. Alright, what are we looking at here? Our lower radiator hose. That lower radiator hose, that connects to the lower radiator and it also connects up to the water pump. So disconnect that screw there, disconnect that clamp, and your radiator hose should come right off. There will be a little bit of coolant, so make sure to catch that coolant and don't pollute the environment. Alright, we've got everything disconnected now, so we can easily and safely remove the radiator. Gently take it out and you should be able to slide it out. It should still have coolant in it, so be prepared to get messy, make a little bit of a mess, make a pathway so you can get that out of there. My dog's just wondering what's going on. Alright, there she is in all her glory. This is a great time to clean up. You can assess your situation. If you have any other jobs you want to do, you can also do those jobs while you have easy access to the entire front of the engine. So here's my area. Got messy, got tools everywhere. There's our new radiator. I ordered this one from O'Reilly and they shipped it with UPS, and the box is completely damaged, as you guys can see. It's a little bit disappointing because I got the radiator out of my van and now I'm looking at this box and it's just completely destroyed. So fingers crossed, hopefully hopefully this radiator checks out. So we're examining the radiator here and it seems to be fine. I don't seem to see any major damage. A couple of the fins are dented there, but you know, what can you do about that? I'm not gonna cry about that. The integrity of it seems to be fine. There are these metal cylinders here, which are, I don't know, I guess made to keep the integrity of that O, or of that ring. But there are some clips and there are some pieces from your old radiator which you do need to remove. These two plastic spacers, excuse me, these two rubber spacers. Go ahead and remove those. You're gonna want to put those on the bottom. You're gonna want to make sure you have those. If you don't have those, your radiator won't sit in properly. Also, remove your plastic fan shroud from your previous radiator. You're gonna go ahead and need that, definitely. Alright, we're replacing the plastic fan shroud. Can't forget to do that. Have to do that. If you don't do it, you'll be regretting it. These are those two rubber spacers. Make sure to put those rubber spacers in. Like I said, it's a great time to clean up your engine. Clean up everything. I didn't do much of a great job cleaning everything up because I just wanted to get the job done, but it's an excellent opportunity if you want to do things right. Go ahead and gently place your radiator in the same way you took the other radiator out, and you shouldn't have any issues. Make sure to get any pipes, any lines, any hoses out of the way, and you should be golden. What you're aiming for is to put those two corners, the two bottom corners of the radiator into those two rubber mounts. There's two plastic pieces that stick out, and you can easily see what you're looking for there. And once you have them into place, it'll get seated down in there, and you'll be able to go ahead and hook everything up and essentially do everything in reverse. The first thing I would recommend doing, though, is starting from the bottom and going up. Get that transmission fluid radiator return line, the bottom one specifically. Most specifically, you want to get that one hooked up. And once you have that one hooked up, you should pretty intuitively be able to put everything back together. There are some metal clips on your old radiator that you're going to go ahead and need to remove. Your new radiator most likely won't come with them. If they do come with it, great, but if not, you're going to have to remove a few pieces from your old radiator and put them on there. Alright, we're almost done here, guys. Connect that intercooler. There's those 4 10mm bolts. Screw those in, and you will be good to go with that intercooler. That's dirty down there. And it looks like we're having a little bit of trouble with this bottom left bolt, and I'm gonna have to address that issue later. For time's sake, we must move on. 2 more metal clips on top of your radiator here. Go ahead and remove those if you need to. Alright, I've got everything hooked up. If you need to refer to the video, go back through the video as many times as you need to. All the information is there. Make sure you buy the right type of coolant. This one is European vehicle. It says for all Sprinter vehicles. This is a Sprinter, and yeah, make sure to fill up that coolant all the way to the max fill line. I filled it right up to the max fill line. You can see there, and we go ahead and replace our radiator cap. Make sure you get that tightened on there nice and tight, and the next step here is to go ahead and start the engine. This is the moment of truth, everybody. Listen. Well, that took a second. Alright, well, she's running. That's a good sign. I hear a little bit of a ticking, but that sounds like it's coming from the heat shield. I think I need to screw the heat shield in a little bit more. Alright, now, the ultimate test is to just sit and wait and see if there's any leaks. If you detect any leaks, isolate where those leaks are coming from and make sure to tighten up any of those hoses. Let the engine come up to temperature. I've been sitting here for about 15 minutes now. I haven't seen a single drip come out of the engine, so it's time to take this bad boy on the road and test it out. We are good to go, guys. Remember to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and leave a comment down below if you found this video helpful. Thanks again. I'll see you in the next video.